What's up, Junkies? Welcome back in for another edition of Pigskin Junkies. Myself, Michael Larson, the big brother, Jared Larson, and now, once again, as usual, the numero uno by uno punto going into the weekend. As I will have no fingernails, I can only imagine how Scott Panza is going to be feeling going into this weekend.
I'll tell you, I was up at a brisk 1 a.m. today, going through and doing my last, thoughts on all the games, and then I fell asleep for another 45 minutes. Woke up again, and then I kicked the day off with a 7:15 Soul Cycle class. I feel fantastic, just ready to rock and roll. Picked 5 winners after that, and now we're ready to just wait to see who everyone else is on, so we can map out the weekend.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear Soul Cycle, I think of 2 things. 1, Scott J. Panza. 2, that James Smokers video where they're trying to get the instructor, and then I think it's Till You Were Gone. Anyways, total sidebar.
Real deep.
right up there with college football. Techno is not my or EDM music, if you will, not my bag. So I didn't see that music video, Jared.
This Sort of Thing Is My Bag, Baby by Austin Powers. Yeah. There's your movie quote for you there, Jared.
So Haley and I did Soul Cycle one time in Soho, and they were like, yeah, you guys are in the back row. You're like way too fat and ugly. It was like a bunch of gay dudes and models, and they're like, you two, back row where nobody can see you. Get out of here. That was my Soul Cycle experience.
I was one of like 3 guys in the class this morning, and I know that the women all around me were like, why do I have to deal with this guy? Why does he have to sit right in front of me? And he's sweating so much. Is he going to be okay? It was like, I'll tell you, it was a total detox from the whole holiday season, and I ate way too much over the past month. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, that makes 2 of us.
I think that goes with everyone. But so, I want to share this story because talking about that makes me laugh. So we're doing an Alaskan cruise as a family, and Jared goes, "Oh yeah, love yoga. Let's do yoga classes." So our mom signs us up for like 3 classes each. And we do the first class. It is packed. There's not any standing. Like, everyone is like shoulder to shoulder. So I'm standing behind Jared.
Slammed.
And we are doing the like reach down, press your palms against the ground. And Jared's ass is just right there, just in my face. Oh. And
nice.
Our yoga class instructor was like, all right, you two, don't have too much fun. And I was like, all right, gonna move on. So with that, we're gonna dive quickly into the college football bowl pick'em we got going right now. If your name is Bro Beans, you're in 53rd place with 2 wins and 15 losses. Take a hike.
Yeah. Bro Beans.
Scott Panza.
I don't think you could do that. Is a great name. I don't think you could do that if you tried. No. I don't think you could repeat that. That's like the funny thing of all that stuff. Yeah. I actually didn't cash a ticket on my first 12 bets in Las Vegas, and I was like, I couldn't do this if I tried.
Yeah.
Which is just an unfortunate side of the volatility coin. But anyways, Bro Beans, if you're out there, give us a shout. Maybe we'll if you're putridness continues, maybe we'll give it the 10-second spot.
Next, Scotty P coming in at 9-14, holding a solid 52nd place.
Not terrible.
Expert picks.
Not bad at all. For a guy who doesn't watch college football, honestly, not bad. I'm trying to find where Jared is. Jared tied for 22nd with everyone and their mother, including great Ryan Malone, going with 12 wins and 11 losses currently. Kurt Kramer, longtime listener, no-time caller, coming in with 13 wins, 10 losses at 14th. A lot of people tied for, or excuse me, not 14th. Yes, 14th for Kurt. A lot of people tied for 4th with 14 wins, 9 losses. And then you got 1, 2, 3. So I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Lepian.
Lepian. He's probably from Louisiana.
17-6. He has. So I'm behind him by a game at 16-6. So I forgot to pick the NC A&T and Alcorn State game. He has
missed a good one.
I know. He has Virginia and Florida, and I have South Carolina and Michigan. So if things stand the way they are right now, he will take a 2-game lead on me going into this. So looking like he could be a winner. Jared, a lot of ground to make up here to get his money back.
I texted Scotty earlier today. I love the Monday card. We'll definitely be adding some plays to the Action app this evening. I like Clemson. I like Oklahoma in the playoff games. For those of you that are picking this up early enough, lay the points with Clemson. Take them with Oklahoma.
I'm not going to say anything.
I'll put that up on the
I'm not
app.
going to say anything. I'm just going to keep moving.
That's not a good thing because that's exactly what I have.
Uh-oh.
And also what I...
Oh, shit.
I know.
Oh, that's bad news.
I think it worked out last time. Whatever that last one was, it worked.
The three of us.
Oh, we were all on the Bears, yeah.
Duh, Bears.
See? Yeah. This is NCAA, though. I guess this could potentially be different.
But when
anyway.
Jared and I are on the same page, spat.
I think we did really well on the gun to your head picks last week.
I think we did, too.
We'll have to recap those.
Which is shocking, given that we went 2-3 in the contest.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad. I missed that line on the Raiders that was their last home game of the season. Oh man, they were juiced up for that one.
They were,
and we needed the Raiders to come through because then it kept Personal Gourmet 2.5 points back, and they could have been 1.5 back of us in solo third. So more breathing room from third place, but. What a weekend last weekend. The end of the 1 o'clock games, it was just,
roller coaster
type of movements.
Yeah.
Well, that Browns non-cover is just as bad as it gets. 26-3 turned into a block punt touchdown, 2-point conversion converted. And then they tease you by getting it to the 3 and then kneel on it. Wouldn't you want to stick it to Hugh Jackson? That's what I don't get. Why not just pound it down their throat?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was going to say somebody must have intervened because that was, my understanding, and I did not see it live, that was the play that Baker stared down Hugh Jackson when he took it all the way down to the 3.
Yeah. That was a pass,
so maybe
like
that
a
was
screen pass to Njoku.
Yeah, so maybe that was his get back, staring him down.
But what a tease! But we got the back door on.
Mike, I already told Scott that Driscoll will be hearing about this in the offseason.
Oh man! Okay.
Oh, you're gonna get. I could text him right now if you wanted me to. Be like, hey, jerk, you understand what you just did?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. It's a teaser that I won't say anything.
I just assume people are gonna take the Steelers for some reason.
So what? 2 of the 3 losses though were by a hook, right?
All 3 were.
All 3 were a hook. Okay.
All 3,
which was just
2 of them by missed extra points.
Yeah. So I'll run through them, and I tweeted this out at the end of last week. But you had Tennessee, which was a miracle chance, and then the rule change that nobody knew about, so they didn't wind up kicking the extra point. Philly won by 2, but didn't cover the 2.5 because they missed an extra point earlier in the fourth quarter. And then the aforementioned Cleveland Browns that were up 16, minus 8.5, got a punt blocked. Cincinnati stuck it in, and the 2-point conversion. I mean, it was like those last. I mean, I wish the listeners could have seen the text thread between me and Scott and me and Micah. Like, it was like Philly scores to cover, then Buffalo scores to cover, then back comes Cleveland. Like Cincinnati, it was just a roller coaster.
Jared just texted me, "Holy shit, Cleveland!" And I'm like, "What?" Like I thought we had that one in the bag. I also wish that we could have had a video of Jared and I in pure hysteria in the living room.
Oh yeah,
as we were watching the Titans
Tennessee
game, just jumping around like idiots. And then we're like waiting for the field goal unit to come out, nowhere to be found.
I was at a country club, and I think they wanted to kick me out because 3 guys, and we're all screaming. The 2 buddies I was with had the over, so that clinched the over for them. And then I saw Malcolm Butler go into the end zone. I was like, holy goodness. But then I saw it flash final. And then I was like, oh, no, that's right. They don't kick the extra point anymore. Oh,
did you remember that rule? I didn't even.
I did.
You pay way more attention to the NFL than I do, obviously. But, which was all focused around the Minneapolis Miracle from last year.
Yep.
Because they had to come back out on the field, which I don't know. Whatever.
The punter went out there. Who cares?
But, yeah, they just kneed on it. Which they may have done in the Tennessee game anyways.
Honestly, I think it's a good rule. There's no reason to have the guys that go get hurt somehow by kicking extra. It's meaningless.
No, I agree. What has been burned in my brain for the last decade was like they have to kick in the NFL and they don't in college. And then obviously that was changed in the offseason. So what do I know?
Just two things that have happened for or against the Vikings in the playoffs that have affected the rule changes in the NFL. Both teams getting a chance to get the football if one of them kicks a field goal, circa 2009 NFC Championship game, and then now this one. So it's great. It's real great. So Scott, we'll give the people what they want. We're recording. It's at 2:00. Gator game's just coming out of halftime. I know you care so much. Been sleeping a lot. Feeling relaxed, nice and massaged. Jared and I will be doing family Christmas all day tomorrow, so I didn't really realize that until...
iPad with the sling will be fully charged.
Yeah,
don't worry, we'll have portable red zone.
I still haven't decided where I'll be taking in the games, but I'll probably be in the torture chamber, pacing around, and hopefully not scaring my wife too much. But let's kick it off. We're starting in the 1 o'clock slate. And you've been listening to this podcast for a while. You know what's coming. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. We're back on them. I said this weeks ago that they're undervalued. They're a covering machine, and I just love this spot for them. Here's the rub here. Kyle Williams, it's his last game. He's retiring. A defensive mainstay on that team, been on the team for 13 years. That defense is going to be motivated to go send him off with a win. Second, you have a lot of young players on the offensive side of the ball for the Bills, so they haven't given up on the season. They want to earn spots next season. On the flip side, the Dolphins, what is worse than being in Miami and flying up to Buffalo in Week 17? Nothing. Oh, only if your GM has just said that they're going to relinquish your QB duties for the Dolphins next season. Ryan Tannehill is on the way out. That is a dejected team. We have the spread at -3.5. It's already moved 2 points up to 5.5. The Dolphins are going to be without Xavier Howard. They're going to be without maybe Kiko Alonso. I'm hoping he's out. Bad run defense. This is tailor-made Bills game. Rock and roll. They're going to win by double digits and hopefully get us nice and settled with a win as we go into the 4:25 games. We're going to start another team we've been riding hard, the Cleveland Browns against +6 against the Baltimore Ravens. Here's the angle here. They're treating this like their Super Bowl. So they're a desperate team. They have absolutely nothing to lose. So they're going to be sending everything at them. Freddie Kitchens is coaching for his OC job. Greg Williams is coaching for the head coaching job. These guys are going to be ready to rock and roll. Now, what I really like about the Browns and their defense is their weakness is in the secondary. Denzel Ward is out. They don't really have to worry about that because Lamar Jackson isn't going to be passing the ball downfield. So this is a big Jamie Collins game. Spying Lamar Jackson. He's freakishly athletic. I know that because he used to be a Pats player. Hopefully he has his head on right for this game and will be all over Lamar Jackson, stop them from running the ball down their throats. Big Myles Garrett game, big game for the defensive line, for the linebackers. It's too many points. Take the 6. It's already moved a little bit in the other direction. We're ready to rock and roll on Baker Mayfield. It's going to be a tight one. Next, we've been on these guys all season. I thought they were undervalued the whole season. We've rode them over and over and over again. Russell Wilson, Seattle Seahawks. They have the best rushing offense in the league. They're going up against the worst rushing defense in the league. So, angle here, even if they don't give Chris Carson the ball, they have 3 other running backs. Rashad Penny, who's fresh, Mike Davis, and J.D. McKissick, who can just pound the football down the Cardinals' throat. They have not been playing for Steve Wilkes. Even though they say they want to be the head coach, they aren't showing it on the field. They look like trash, and they definitely don't travel well. So they're traveling to one of the toughest places in the NFL to play on the road. Just last week, they were 14-point home dogs, and now they're getting 13.5 against Seattle, who still needs to play for the 5th seed because they don't want to go to Chicago. This is a let it roll. Josh Rosen can't get anything going. He has no weapons on offense. Lay the 13.5, lay the 14, expecting a big Seattle game.
Can I step in there and say also Arizona pole position for the number 1 overall draft pick? Another angle to consider. So NFL frowns upon tanking, but I think in Week 17 they would be remiss if they went out and won this game.
Doesn't even matter. Steve Wilkes can't coach that team anyway.
I hope he gets fired because I agree. I think they have some talent, and he's a horrible coach. Him and Vance Joseph, bye. See you later.
Next, now this is one that I have gotten insane pushback on, but I just love everything about this game. Denver plus 6.5. You may be scratching your head, be like, why, Scott? Why would you take this game? They just look like trash against Oakland. Well, here's the angle here. Case Keenum, every game he plays is a tape game because he has to constantly prove that he's an NFL quarterback. Second, he's got a bunch of young receivers who are also playing for playing time next year. Third, now with Philip Lindsay out, Royce Freeman gets to showcase his skills on fresh legs. The Chargers' run defense hasn't been great. They've lost a lot of guys on the defensive line and the linebacking core. Now, on the Chargers side, now they have nothing to play for. Once they get into halftime, they're going to see that the Chiefs are up 20-0 on the Raiders, and they were like, well, we're locked into the 5th seed. So why would we go all out? Why would we play Melvin Gordon, who's already banged up? Rest your guys, get ready for next week because you're going to have to go back on the road, and I think they're going to end up playing – they're going to play the winner of the nightcap, which we're about to get to. So why are they going to play this game? The Broncos are a prideful team. They just got cooked, embarrassed on national TV. I love Von Miller. I love Nick Chubb coming back, playing with pride. Oh, by the way, Philip Rivers 0-4 of those last 4 trips to altitude in Denver, one of the toughest places to play. 6.5, way too many points. Swallow or grab the points. Now last, every mush face in the world is telling me the Colts are beating the Titans. Everyone. I haven't heard one person say they like the Titans, except my good friend, Uncle Colin Coward. Well, I'm right there with him. You know who hasn't been playing well on the road this year? The Indianapolis Colts. Did you forget they lost to the Jets in New York? Did you forget that they got shut out against the Jags earlier this year? They have a ton of injuries. I love Andrew Luck. I love this team. But home dog, Titans. What else? They're playing for revenge. They got cooked 38-10 earlier this season against the Colts. What game was that after? After they went and smoked the Pats. We were all over that game with the Colts that week. But this week, this line has swung way too much. I'm a huge buyer of the Titans. They can pound the football. They can stop the run. All they have to do is make sure Malcolm Butler is all over T.Y. Hilton because they don't have any other weapons. Ebron concussed. He has to get cleared today. I'm waiting to hear that news. We love the Tennessee Titans. It's a team we've rode all season, undervalued. This is another great spot. They're being undervalued again. Take the 3 points, take the home dog in an emotional game. Sunday Night Football, I am just hoping I can watch that game in peace while I flip between that and Dirty John on Bravo because we've already locked and loaded the 1.4 million and we are contest champs and we're going to be elated.
So here I'll say what everyone's going to say. But Scott, Andrew Luck's never lost to the Titans before. How do you defend that?
Mush.
Well,
a mush response.
They've been playing against whoever the Titans Colts coaches was. It Mike Mularkey in the past.
Mike Mularkey.
This is a different coaching staff. This is a different team philosophy. And I'm telling you right now, Mike Vrabel is telling his team all about that stat. He's going to tell them no one believes in you. I love the home underdog. No one believes in you for your football playoff life. They are going to be juiced up. I saw them play with so much fire against the Pats earlier this season, and they just crushed them. And I'm expecting the same thing. Oh, by the way, the Colts, they just won by 1 against the New York Giants last weekend. You really have that much confidence? I think this is going to be very heavily played on the Colts. We're pushing aside that groupthink. We're all over the Titans.
I'll say 2 things. One, I saw 82% of the bets at BetOnline yesterday by ticket count were on the Colts, which only echoes everything that Scott has said so far. 2, trends are nearly useless in my mind. So Andrew Luck, 10-0. He's 1-0 against them this season, and that has to be accounted for. And Scott mentioned it, revenge, et cetera, et cetera. But every game prior to that, you had different coaches. Chuck Pagano, complete idiot for the Colts previously, I think for the entire tenure. It may have even been Jim Caldwell before that, which is even more of a bozo head. And then for the Titans, you said Malarkey prior. So, yeah, it's different philosophies. 2, it's different players. The rosters are never the same 52. So I agree that it must be considered, but the human mind is designed to think in straight lines, and that's very rarely how things happen. I'm off the soapbox now.
Yeah, and even if it's, say the Colts win, I think it's a field goal game. So then we get the push, and, but I have full belief. I wish it was 3.5. That would be great. So we could hook some, do the reverse hook from last weekend. But
think of it. What if it's tied and then that game ends on 3 and you win by a half point? I think you will be the silver fox at the end of the game if that's the case.
That'd be incredible. That would be absolutely incredible. And for the listeners, here's a little bit of the game theory that Jerry and I were talking about. The guys right behind us, Rush, whatever. They've been playing home dogs all season. I am waiting to see what all the other contestants are taking after this podcast, but I have a funny feeling that they're going to be with us on the Titans, and that's a big blocker for us for them gaining ground. I think that they're also going to be on the Broncos. It's their philosophy. So these are 2 blockers that we're thinking that they will not be able to gain ground on us. So the real kickers are going to be probably the Browns, the Bills, and the Seahawks. But I guess we'll see.
1.44 rating on the Browns and the Bills. And at least the Seahawks you feel good about. But saying those 2 other teams, my butthole just got real tight.
My God.
Scott texted me the card, and I was like, it's perfect. It's the perfect amount of disgusting.
Oh, my God. Perfect amount of Pepto and perfect amount of guys that teams that we've been on this year that we just have a good feel for. And I'll tell you that if I can give me 3 minutes, talk about the near misses. LA Rams, I was back and forth during Soul Cycle this morning between Rams and Seahawks. I love the spot for the Rams. And things that I really love is they learned last year that packing it in week 17 is going to have a detrimental effect to your team because they went and laid an egg the following week. You can't just turn it off and turn it on. So I think they're coming fully loaded against Nick Mullins. Aaron Donald needs 3.5 sacks to break the sacks record. Mullins has been terrible on the road this season. They have a ton of injuries. Pettis is going to be out. Godwin's going to be out. Breida's going to be out. So it's Kittle and Jeff Wilson. This was the last one out. I love the Rams. I was going to be on the Jets plus 13.5. The Pats shouldn't be laying that much, but it feels dirty to bet against the Pats since I'm such a huge fan. I was kind of regretting it last week until the Bills went in the back door. Also, the Jets just have too many injuries, so it's going to be Stephon Gilmore all over Robbie Anderson. They should just double him and just make anyone else beat him. And then we are going to be on the Atlanta Falcons plus 1. But both those teams are playing for nothing. I couldn't do it on the Falcons because I haven't played them enough this year, and they've actually burned me when I have. So just stayed away. But those were the near misses. I think we're going to be huge Skins fans because I think a ton of people are going to be on the Eagles. I think we're going to be huge Jags fans. I really like that game, but the O-line is just so bad. So I think those are going to be the swing games for us, and hopefully it just shakes out in our favor.
I'm a huge Skins fan for personal reasons. On this weekend.
What do you think, Micah? Do you guys get the win tomorrow?
I don't know. Kind of a scary spot, to be honest.
The last time Kirk Cousins
reeks of a Minnesota loss. Just reeks of a loss.
I don't think they need to do too much. Their defense is playing great, but last time Kirk Cousins was in this position, he laid an absolute egg.
Yeah.
Is that when they lost to the Giants?
Lost to the Giants 19-10, and Eli Manning was 10 of 28 in that game, and they still won. 10 of 28. Ugh.
I will say
that's another game. We're going to be huge Cowboys fans because everyone on Twitter is talking about how the Giants are a lock at 6.5. I don't get it. They should be playing for draft position. I don't know.
Well, who knows what they'll do now that QB from Oregon said he's going to stay for another year.
Herbert?
Yeah, basically the best quarterback option there is outside Drew Lock.
Drew Lock is not. Drew Lock. Some poor sap fan base is going to draft Drew Lock like 4th overall. Drew Lock is the reincarnation of Blaine Gabbert. Same school, same style, trash. Trash.
But we may need Blaine Gabbert tomorrow.
Yeah, it doesn't matter in the NFL. If you come in and you're above 6'5", you can throw a football. For some reason, this matters. You can throw a football really far from your knees or sitting on your butt.
Got all the throws. Make all the throws.
Yeah, because when you in the NFL, you're constantly throwing from your knees. It's a thing.
It's important. It's important.
So
look at noodle arm Tom Brady. 6 world championships, or is it 5?
5. No big deal. 5.
It's going to be 6.
It's more likely that Tom Brady would have been in a Super Bowl than not in his career.
That's so gross.
Wow. Are they going to do it this year? Oh, so that's actually probably a good programming note. This show will not cease once the what's the word I'm looking for?
The contest
Super contest is over. Jeez, I'm losing my shit. I need another cup of coffee. That will not be over when the contest ends. I'll be putting some bull picks up. Mike and I might do one for the college football season recap once the national title game is over, and then we will have playoff football preview shows as well. Just football. I'll probably be breaking down every game because at that point it'll be for a weekend for the first couple weekends, and then ticks down from there. So. Team Pittsburgh Junkies will be in Las Vegas next weekend, so I can't promise any type of programming outside of
what we put on Twitter
from me.
Yeah.
Lots of
Maybe
videos.
we'll just do some live videos and we'll give a real quick recap in Vegas. How does that sound?
I think videos in Vegas are a bad idea, but generally, I'll make an exception for this one.
Oh man, I can already picture it next weekend where. In the sports book, and we're watching Cowboys Seahawks, the Saturday night game, and we are locked and loaded on Russell Wilson for deep. I cannot wait.
Scott and I were talking about this last night. Yeah. We were talking about it last night. We're like, I can't wait till next Saturday. I just pray that they take that as the night game.
Oh,
Cowgirls, Seahawks, and I will be unloading and just ripping shots when I see Jason Garrett's stupid, dumbfounded look, just ripping them down.
There have been few moments in my life, so as long as Jared doesn't say certain words, I am totally in on the Seahawks as well. Jared, last March, texted me, lock of the century, and who was it? It was Eastern Illinois in the tournament. It was there were 30 or 40 point dogs in the tournament. Jared goes, it's the lock of the century. I don't think they scored 15 points. They got absolutely smacked.
Yeah. Illinois State.
Horrible.
Yeah, I was in Vegas. May have had a few cocktails and said lock of the century on accident.
Him and Fredrickson had T-shirts on. Had Illinois State T-shirts.
They made me so much money that year that I felt like I had to bet them, and I let my heart get in the way.
The heart
it was worth it. It was fun.
Thing. So
yes, it is.
I saw this on Twitter, and they were talking about, I thought it was interesting. It was our boy from Veasan who messages us quite a few times to see if Scotty wants to get on the...
Van Tobel?
No.
Dave Tooley.
Tooley, yes.
Oh, yeah, Dave Tooley.
And I thought it was interesting.
Looking forward to meeting Dave Tooley when we're out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
we got a couple to meet.
Yeah. So Dave Tooley was saying, a guy asked him, what would you describe a backdoor cover for you? So I'll preface it with this: is it just when an underdog scores a late touchdown, or would you still consider a backdoor cover even when a favorite scores late?
Even when a favorite.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would echo. I mean, backdoor just means usually I quantify it as inside the 2-minute warning or inside of 2 minutes in college. Like if you are getting, and it becomes even more so backdoor when it's meaningless. I don't really think it's a backdoor. As an example, a team is +3, but they're losing by 4 and they need a touchdown and they score a touchdown. As long as your bet syncs up with the outcome on the field, I don't really think that's a backdoor cover. Where that starts to happen is when those two things become misaligned.
Yep. And there was so many examples last weekend.
I was going to say this.
The Bills, the Bengals, all backdoor covers.
Bengals was the worst.
The meaningless touchdowns.
Egregious.
Like you just know they're coming.
So, fellas, any closing thoughts? Closing thoughts for you guys?
Thanks to a couple things. Thanks to all the listeners. It's been a ton of fun going through this contest with you guys. I am super stoked for tomorrow. Also, we tweeted about it, but shout out Evan Silva, Ross Tucker. Fantasy Feast podcast was one of the most important things I listened to dissecting games this year. They broke it down so well. Injuries, matchups, it was fantastic. It was my Wednesday and Thursday, one of the most important pieces of my puzzle. And let's rock and roll. Let's get winners. And if you're out in Vegas, tweet at us. We'll be locking up winners.
Yeah, I'd echo and say thanks to Scott primarily for picking winners and taking us on this fun ride where we had 100 downloads an episode and now we have just shy of 1,000. So the thank you goes twofold, one to Scott and one to the listeners. I've said it before on a bunch of podcasts without sounding too mushy here. Micah and I started doing this last year. We were like, hey, we're just a couple brothers. We're going to talk about football anyways. Why not record it and put it out there and see who listens. So put it on the line. I mean, this is a ton of fun for us. It's to have a bunch of other people care what we have to say is like the coolest thing ever. So, we'll keep doing this. Even if we go down to just like 50 listeners, I think we'll probably keep doing it because it's just it's fun for us. So Thanks for your interaction. Thanks for following along. And hopefully we can bring it home tomorrow and send out a bunch of cool pictures from next weekend.
Yeah, baby.
So I'll piggyback on that. So a lot of Pepto is going to be consumed tomorrow. Even while I'm getting massaged, I might ask the lady if I can hold my phone and watch the games on my phone while it's happening. Sir, you need to relax.
Hold this iPad.
I can't relax. It's been a blast, Scott. Thanks again, man, for coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun and for carrying the cross of the of Pigskin Junkies towards the finish line there. We know you didn't have it could have been just easily your name or something you came up with, but luckily for us, it was the podcast name, and you came along and rolled with it, and been also, going on lots of shows and crushing it for us and representing the brand well. We got to get a T-shirt made here soon. I think we should try and get one done for the weekend and just say #Sadsies, since that's Scott's favorite word there, or something, and just get the Pigskin Junkies logo on it. But Jared and I have a lot of fun doing this. Obviously, it's great having Scott on here to talk NFL because it is pigskin, not just college pigskin. So as we kind of continue to add that ripple into it, college games next year will also be a huge thing. So just lots of opportunities for people to get on here and get lots of free money with the Pigskin Junkies. So thank you all so much. It's been a fun season. Like Jared was saying, it's not over. We'll be going through the college football is still going on. Just a reminder that we all have, yikes, Clemson and Oklahoma tonight. So if you got that,
Clemson is dropping like a rock. I might have to re-up here.
Yeah. So with that being said, it's past Christmas time, so I cannot say be sure to drink your Ovaltine, so I don't know what to say now. But we are out of here, Junkies.
Check Twitter on Monday night for that comment, by the way.
See ya. See ya.